All right, welcome to next-gen manufacturing. Think about your smartphone or your car. All those countless parts that just fit together perfectly. But have you ever wondered how? Well, the answer is this incredible level of precision that's, literally invisible to the naked eye. So today, let's dive into this hidden world of what we call tight tolerances. So here it is, the big question. How do you make millions of parts that fit together perfectly every single time? It's not about making just one perfect part. Anyone can do that with enough time. It's all about repeatability, making millions of them, where every single one is an exact copy of the last. How is that even possible? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
Okay, so let's get into it. Section 1, the precision problem. It's this invisible challenge that has some very real consequences. The heart of the problem is something we can't even see. In this world of high-volume manufacturing, the absolute smallest, most insignificant seeming little error, it can create this massive ripple effect, causing total, catastrophic failure in the final product.
And when I say small, I'm not kidding. We're talking about measurements that are just fractions of the width of a single human hair. Think about that. If you get it wrong by that tiny, tiny amount, the entire part could be completely useless. The stakes here, they're just incredibly high. So how do they control this microscopic world? Well, that brings us to our next section. What is a tolerance? This is really about defining the battlefield of precision. Manufacturers rely on one absolutely crucial concept to get this right. You can think of it as the official rulebook for precision, and it's called a tolerance. Okay, so what is it? Put simply, a tolerance is just the acceptable amount of error or variation a part can have. Look, no manufacturing process is absolutely 100% perfect, right? So what engineers do is they define an upper limit and a lower limit for any given measurement. As long as the final part falls somewhere within that range, that wiggle room, it's considered perfect. It passes the test. Now, to really give you a sense of scale here, a really common unit of measurement we're talking about is 1/1000th of an inch, 0.001. Okay, so what does that even mean? Well, a typical human hair is about 0.003 of an inch wide. So the acceptable error we're talking about is often a fraction of a single hair. That is the world that modern manufacturing lives and breathes in every single day. It's wild.
And this brings us to what I like to call the golden rule of tolerances. It's super simple, but absolutely critical. For a part to meet its tolerance, the tool that's making it has to have an even tighter tolerance. It just makes sense, right? You can't measure something down to 1/1000th of an inch with a ruler that's only accurate to a 1/16th of an inch. The tool always has to be more precise than the thing it's creating. Real precision always starts with the tools themselves. Okay, let's look at a real-world example to see how all this stuff builds up. Let's talk about the perfect hole challenge, where precision really, really matters. Making a hole sounds simple, but it's one of the most common and critical jobs in machining. And we're not talking about just any hole. We're talking about a feature that has to align perfectly with another part, which means its tolerance has to be unbelievably tight. So how do they do it? What's the secret sauce? Well, it's actually this really clever two-step solution. First, they use something called a spotting drill. All this does is create a tiny, perfect little dimple right where the hole needs to be. This prevents the main drill from, walking, skittering across the surface before it bites in. Then, once the main hole is drilled, a special tool called a reamer comes in. It's super rigid, and it just shaves off a tiny, minuscule amount of material to bring that hole to its final, exact, perfect size. All right, we've got perfect holes down. But what's next? Winning the war on walls. This is all about fighting an invisible force. Yeah, I'm talking about making a perfectly flat, perfectly straight wall on a part. And believe me, when machinists do this, they are literally fighting against an invisible enemy that's trying to ruin their work at every single moment. And that enemy has a name: tool deflection. So imagine a cutting tool spinning at thousands of RPM, right? As it pushes against hard metal, it actually bends. Just a tiny microscopic amount, but it bends. And of course, that tiny little bend means it's no longer cutting a perfectly straight line. The result? You got a wall that isn't truly flat, and boom, your part is out of tolerance. And this is where choosing the right tool for the job is everything. Okay, so on one hand, you've got a standard square end mill. It's got the super sharp 90-degree corner. The problem is all the cutting force gets concentrated right on that tiny point, which makes it weak and really easy to chip. But on the other hand, look at the corner radius end mill.
Just by slightly rounding that corner, you distribute the stress and the force, and that tiny change makes the tool way more durable, and it lets you cut faster and with a lot more stability. It's a game changer.
All right, last but not least, let's talk about the secrets of flawless threads. This is often one of the very last things you do to a part, cutting those threads for screws and bolts. Now, you'd think the big challenge here is the crazy complex geometry, right? But the biggest enemy of a perfect thread, it's actually something way, way simpler. And it's something people overlook all the time.
So what is it? What is this one thing that can just completely derail this final, critical step after all that other precise work has been done? It's the chip. Yep, the tiny little sliver of waste metal that gets cut away. If that little guy doesn't get cleared out of the way properly, it is absolute disaster for the part. So here's why that's such a huge deal. A leftover chip gets caught between the cutting tool and the part. What happens? It creates vibration, what machinists call chatter. And that just destroys the surface finish. It totally messes up the geometry of the thread. So this one tiny piece of leftover metal can set off a whole chain reaction of failures that ends up with the entire part being thrown in the scrap bin. It turns out getting the waste material out is just as important as making the cut in the first place. But hold on, here's the final twist in the story. This is about the forces beyond the machine, the unseen enemies of precision. So what happens if you've done everything perfectly? You've picked the right tools, you've used all the best techniques, you've cleared out every single chip, and your parts are still coming out wrong. Well, sometimes the enemy isn't in the machine at all. Yeah, sometimes the workshop itself starts to fight back. A simple change in the room temperature can cause the metal part to expand or contract just enough to throw a critical measurement completely off. And get this, even the building's concrete foundation, expanding and contracting with the weather outside, can introduce tiny little vibrations into a multi-ton machine, totally undermining all of that careful, precise work. It's crazy.
So what's the takeaway here? Achieving this insane level of precision, it isn't about finding one magic bullet or some secret trick. It's a process. It's about systematically understanding every single tiny variable, from the shape of your tool to the temperature of the room, and then just solving one small critical challenge after another.
And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The next time you pick up your phone, or you open your laptop, or even just start your car, take a second. Think about that invisible world of tolerances that makes it all possible. What other amazing feats of hidden precision are hiding in plain sight in the objects you use every single day? Pretty cool to think about, isn't it?